This daily market update has been brought to you by Daily Wealth Report. Trading involves risk of loss and may not be suitable for you. Past performance is no guarantee or reliable indication of future results. All advice and education content is of the nature of general information only and must not in any way be construed or relied upon as legal, financial, or personal advice.
Good morning, traders and investors. It's Friday, the 24th of August, and we've seen the markets coming off overnight in Europe and the US, selling activity extending following some weakness over previous sessions. As we take a look at the FTSE index, it shows the markets were down quite heavily overnight. This is the CFD index. The FTSE had actually recovered towards the end of the day and did actually close 2.4 points up at 5776, but the solid red candle does show that there was a majority of selling pressure through the session. As we take a look at the DAX index, the German DAX index, we can see it was down quite heavily. This formed a bearish engulfing pattern. It follows a spinning top pattern, which is the small candle there, second from the right, and a shooting star, the previous candle. So a lot of weakness in the buyers. We had been talking about that over the last 2 weeks, though. And by the closing bell, the German DAX was down 68 points, just short of 1%, closing at 69.49. The French CAC 40 was also down quite heavily. It lost 29 points, or 0.8%, closing at 3432. And again, it shows a very similar picture there. So we have short-term selling pressure. That is a retracement during an overall upwards trend. And so what we're measuring at the moment is the strength of that selling pressure and whether it has enough momentum to break the overall upwards trend. As we take a look at the US markets, the Dow Jones was down 115 points, or 0.8%. Closing at 13,057, and that clearly shows that reversal point and that short-term retracement falling off the previous long-term high. So a strong resistance level there at 13,320, and again this has broken the short-term 20-period moving average. It's now in a zone where if we see a higher low point form, it'll be a good entry level. If not, as it breaks down, if it breaks this blue line here, which is a 50-period moving average, then that will denote a change in trend overall. The Nasdaq index, focusing in on the technology stocks, didn't find as much selling pressure as the broader market. The Nasdaq was down 20 points, or 0.6%, closing at 3,053, whilst the S&P 500 index had lost 11 points, or 0.8%, same as the Dow in percentage terms, closing at 1,402. So again, falling away from its long-term highs there. Taking a look at the VIX index, and the VIX had rallied relatively strongly, not as strong as what I would expect off a 0.8% move downwards. It gained 85 cents, closing at $15.96. That's 5.5% movement, and we can see here that it's just extending the short-term rally. So as long as the markets keep falling, this VIX will keep rising, and it has formed a long-term low there. And so what this is denoting is that there's a little bit of fear in the markets that there might be further downside, and so fund managers are buying up the VIX to hedge their positions. Back to local indexes, and we take a look at the ASX 200. It was up 10 points on Thursday, closing at 4,386. It's very weak buyer movement. Again, we've been discussing that over the last week, and with the shadow on top, it shows that the buyers weren't able to hold on to the intraday movement, and that resulted in a very small candle forming. So we take a look at the SPY futures. They're down 26 points ahead of market open, and so that's going to have a major impact on the opening bell. We're bound to see the ASX 200 down, and whether that extends further into the day as investors look to get out of positions ahead of the weekend, we'll just have to monitor that through the morning session. Anyway, that's our summary for Friday the 24th of August. We hope you have a great weekend. We wish you the best of luck in your trading, and we look forward to speaking to you again on Monday.